our lives are so intertwined at this point. There's probably some case for that.
Yeah,
I mean, you're literally the only person besides my wife that I've talked to almost every single day since 2019.
Yep, and I know your social security number. I know your phone number. I know your freaking elementary school.
I know.
Security questions.
Mother's maiden name, the street you grew up on. I know your wife's social security number.
Yeah, right.
Dude,
we have insurance policies on each other now.
Yeah, literally. I have insurance on your kids. You don't know that, but I do.
But, Cole's going to need it, dude. Give me half of that payout.
Yeah, seriously.
That's funny. You're going to like my intro. Let me do the intro.
Okay, so Dan's going to do the intro. All right, as it fades out, let's hear it.
I practiced this, actually. Welcome back to the Grifting with God podcast. I will be your host today, Daniel, all the way from the Lion's Den, here with our co-host, Michael, the Archangel himself, the Warrior of Gods, and our non-denominational, Dylan, your name is not in the Bible anywhere. I had to look it up. It's of Welsh origin. You're basically a heathen. And so you can participate, but you will not be grifting with God today, as Michael and I will be. This is the only podcast where we will teach you how to use your faith to grift money from your Instagram followers. So please follow along.
Praise he.
Praise he.
There's plenty of that out there. I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel here.
I'm just copying these other guys.
Oh my God. So sorry if you guys are religious and you're listening to this. Welcome to Collecting Keys. We've just had so many discussions recently about all of the, I don't know, I'll say like washed up maybe, a lot of the Instagram, internet influencers of times past have really, like out of kind of nowhere,
dug in,
have really sort of started to find their faith in a way that feels so disingenuous to me and to a lot of us. It's just like, it's tired, guys. And you have these people that have done nothing Christ-like in their entire life, at least as far as I can tell, that all of a sudden it's their entire platform. If that isn't like the biggest red flag, I don't know what to tell you.
I think some of it is disingenuous, grifting, all the above. And then there's some out there that's just like, I think they failed at like their business endeavors, or maybe they feel like they failed at life and they're actually trying to turn to this, but it's still like cringy.
Yeah,
it's so cringy. And, you know, we have very good friends that's a huge part of their platform, but it isn't their entire platform. And it's also, they actually do things outside of that. I feel like if every single message that you post is exclusively about faith or it's sort of like stuff that is, I don't know, it's like clickbaity around your relationship with God, with all these kind of things where you know you're going to get a bunch of people that are going to engage with it, but it doesn't actually lead to anything of value, or it doesn't reflect your past in any way. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, some of these guys are a little bit... We've had a couple theories in the group chat here. One is that there was a conference where all these guys go to, and they talked about how using faith will increase your sales. I really do believe there's something. They go to their guru conferences where they learn all this sort of stuff. And what's that one? Name one of the big gurus that goes on stage and talks all the time.
Elliott,
right? He's up there like, yeah, dude, I increased sales 23% by talking about faith. I have faith with God, bro.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
That was pretty good.
Chill up.
You're good.
Yeah, pretty good. Meanwhile, he's wearing his own shirt that says Elliott, his own name on it, which is like, I feel like that in itself is like not a good thing. You know what I mean?
I really feel like those kind of guys are a good example. Is their entire platform has been highly aggressive. They haven't really done things that would appear to be for the greater good or really sort of kosher in that environment at all. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, all of their content is his wife talking about how God is their only leader, and like pictures of like their company prayer group, and like all these like candid photos, quote unquote, of him like praying like by himself, like on a couch. Like, no, like you've never done this. Like, why is this a new thing? Like, obviously business is not going very well for your sales training. You're trying to reach out to that new audience.
Yeah, dude. He's like, do you know what it is? Because him and his wife they're stressed out on GLPs and anabolics. They're both taking testosterone, clearly. And they're just like, we need more money so we can just stay lean, you know? What is it? Is it faith? What did that one dude say? It was like faith. Or all about faith, fitness, and what? Like, I can't, the 3 F's. It was like faith, fitness, and like, I don't know, whatever the other F is. Yeah. Still, I was like, oh my God, you guys are getting crazy out here.
So you have those guys, and you have like the David Greens who have completely fallen out of favor in every way because all of their real estate is failing, right? He's ousted by bigger pockets. His entire sort of influential sphere is gone. I'm pretty sure the rest of his business is doing pretty bad. And now he starts an entire YouTube channel purely just about his relationship with God. And I'm like, what is your intention with this? I don't know.
It feels like a common religious play. It's a common play because I think there's also some level of followership, which happens to, be in the church, right? So like there's people of status within the church, right? Depending on what type of religion you are. But if you're a pastor, you're kind of the guy, right? For that church, or you're one of the pastors in that church, or you're in a leadership role. So you have some influence, which I mean, ego wise, it's probably pretty cool to be like the leader of faith for some people, whatever. I mean, if that's your thing, cool. But then you have people like that had a big following on Instagram, and they're like, well, this is like an easy way to get a following and to have some sort of maybe feed your ego. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
They're trying to stay in relevance.
Yeah, or they're just trying to make up for some really bad shit they did, and they know it's coming down the pike, and so they're at least they can lean on. I'm religious. I'm a good person. They're liars. That's not true. I never did any of that illegal stuff.
Which is ironic because even the most successful people I know who are worth lots of money, I don't even learn that they're religious until it's the 5th, 10th time that I met them.
Right.
It just comes up in conversation. It's not something that they lead with off the bat.
Yeah. What do they do to you that makes you know they're religious?
It will just come up in conversation. If you're getting to know someone better, and they're like, faith is important to me, but and then they just go back to talking how they bought a 100-unit building, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a total, a good example of that is Craig Curelop that we know. He's on the show. That's a very big part of who he is as a person. He does show on his social media, but he also is doing so much outside of that isn't the first thing that you are slapped in the face with if you come across his stuff.
To me, that in his context, it'd be similar to him posting him doing mountain biking, cool things down the hill on a mountain bike. And then he's 100%. Also by the way, buy my book on real estate. Exactly. It's okay. Some of these people it's getting kind of crazy. We did need to highlight it though, because it's getting out of hand.
Yeah. And I think the reason that we're highlighting too is because of the prevalence of people that so obviously are removed from that in their day-to-day life. And over the last 10 years that they've been around, they have never once done anything with this kind of stuff, any kind of religious post or anything else. And all of a sudden it is everything that they post and they produce is around this. What is going on?
Yeah. It's getting kind of weird.
Is God the new NFT of 2026? Maybe he is.
I think so.
It's a new fad.
I 100% believe it's to increase sales volume for those guys. That's what they're doing because they're also so desperate right now because those dudes, the amount of money they also spend on their production and all the stuff that they're doing. We know what it's like to spend money on that. Not at that level, but they're running a lot of money to just have this ego platform, but also what businesses are they doing again? Remind me. I have no idea. So it's
is that coaching? Isn't that the overall umbrella for everybody?
It is. That's the common denominator for sure, Dylan. Is it some kind of personal relationship coaching style business? You don't see a ton of it with you don't see the Alex Hormozy posting about religion. When that happens, then shit's getting real bad.
Totally.
We're in a depression if that happens.
Yeah, totally. But who knows? Maybe he'll have his kid and he'll get super religious all of a sudden. Seems very unlikely, but
he might. Isn't he Persian? So I mean, that's a big part of their culture, religion.
I think his dad's Iranian. I don't think he has really any connection to that. But
he wasn't born there.
No, I'm pretty sure he's from Baltimore or somewhere.
A tough area.
Yeah, but anyways, well, around guys. Well, I am back with a proper podcast setup, so glad for that. Dylan, welcome back. You had a good little trip with the fam. Where'd you go? The Catskills or somewhere out there on the East Coast?
Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Hilton Head? Is that the Catskills, but in Ohio?
Just so you know, Mike, that's probably a badass place. We don't know it.
There's a ton of badass places over there that I don't know about.
I mean,
it's just nobody over there has heard about Sandpoint before, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no idea what that is. So
I'm gonna argue our stuff's better, but whatever. West of the Pacific, PNW is awesome.
Every time I go out west, I've loved it. I've been to northern Idaho, been to Coeur d'Alene. It's all been awesome. Every time I got there. Do you count Colorado, Denver, being out west?
I would. Yeah. Technically.
Yeah. Breckenridge. We went out. Yeah. All of it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Especially in the mountains. I mean, Eastern Colorado is a whole lot of nothing.
Once you hit Rocky Mountains and stuff like that, I feel you're yeah, that's solid west. Because that's all kind of the same at that point.
Yeah. How long were you on vacation for, Dylan?
Technically, it was Thursday to Sunday. The following Sunday. Yeah.
So it was 10 days. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was your business able to keep going while you were away?
Yes and no. I'm still needed, and I recognize that. And we closed 3 deals the week I was on vacation. But the only time I really worked besides like a few text messages here and there, was like we'd still have a 15, 20-minute call in the morning with my acquisition guy. And then honestly, when my daughter still takes a nap, right? And so she naps like in between an hour and a half on a daily basis, I would stay back in the room. I'd let my wife go do her own thing. And then I would just work for the like hour and a half. And like, that was it. That was enough.
Nice. So that feels pretty good though. You paid for your vacation while you're on vacation.
More than paid for the vacation. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
A little brag there, a little humble brag.
That means your vacation was too skinny, bro.
It was too small.
Boosted it a little bit.
Now we got to get the accounts back up, man. I
the
remember I
rule's
got
1 to 1.
sidetracked for a while.
Every dollar you make on vacation needs to go towards that vacation.
Yeah.
If it's not possible, then you got to find the nearest casino and just make
Only
sure.
if you can put it on Instagram, though. So you got to tell people all the cool shit you're doing and be on a beach and all that stuff.
I think I only posted like once or twice.
Only if it's for he, though. Remember, Dylan.
Yeah.
The yacht. The private yacht excursion was for him.
I'm going to get Dylan a shirt because
We did do a private boat thing. Not a yacht, but it was cool.
Oh, really?
Our like first mate, not to get too sidetracked, was like, oh, this guy just flew in and he got like a $20 million yacht. And he said that like if you buy something like that with like a crew and stuff, expect to spend anywhere from 10 to 20% of the cost per year.
Really?
So if it's a $20 million yacht, you can spend $2 to $4 million just in year to like upkeep, maintenance, and to own the damn thing.
I believe it.
That's interesting.
Boats are hard to maintain.
Yeah.
So a lot, especially an ocean boat.
Yeah, but when you're in an affluent area like that,
Like, how many crew is on something like that?
it was like
how many
6.
people?
I think I asked that question.
Six.
Yeah.
6.
What are those
Yeah.
people making?
So I guess there's an engineer that makes like up to 6 figures, and there's some other people like 50 to 75,000. But like
The
they're on a
captain's
boat
probably
the full
making
time.
6 figures. Then
Yeah.
the fuel cost is probably immense. And then like you got to scrape the barnacles off the bottom.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say that you're like a rich dude, just an average rich dude, super rich dude that has a $20 million yacht. So you're not like, like a super
ChatGPT
mega yacht,
is.
Mark Zuckerberg yacht, but it's a good boat. And so you have to pay this $2 million a year for stuff. What does the crew do when you're not using it? Do they like go and work another boat? Do you just pay them full time for your boat?
I don't know.
Is it like
Yeah.
subcontracted? Like, how does that work?
It sounds like it's salaried, but I didn't ask that specific question.
Can they go and be salaried with like multiple boats?
You would think so. I mean, you can't be in 2 places at one time, so I guess it depends on the routes that these boats are going.
But like, let's say they're in Monaco where there's 50 of these fucking assholes that have the same boat. Can like the people just go and work all the boats and collect salaries from all of them, and they just basically have to be available for the 1 week that their person's there?
I'm sure this has been tried. Like, I don't know a private person.
I feel like this is a life hack right here. If you can figure it out.
Well, you got to be ready at a moment's notice. Yeah. So just ChatGPT says for a $20 million motor yacht, that's a distinction. I would budget $2 to $3 million per year in cash operating costs. It's roughly $165 to $250 every month. Yeah. And this says basically the rule of thumb is 10 to 15% of the yacht's value annually.
I want to know like how much you're using it though. Because like if you use it for like 2 days.
That's probably a different cost. That's probably built in because it's like an airplane, right? You have fixed costs and variable costs. Like, so the variable, anytime you use it, it's going to cost this much per hour. So like a $20 million yacht, it might be like $5,000 an hour just in, fuel and operating costs. I don't have no idea, but.
So like that boat that you were on, Dylan, is like an individual that owns that or like a company? Or does like someone own that boat and they give it to the company to like lease it out for them while they're not using it?
So I wasn't on this boat, but the name of the boat was something guilty. So he thought it was like a lawyer or like a lawyer's firm.
Okay.
But no, it just sounds like it was a private individual that owned it. And that was kind of my whole point is like, even like we do okay for ourselves here in like the Midwest, right? You go to Hilton Head Island where you have people who have these kind of boats. The boat on the water is 15, 20 million. And the HOAs are like 30 grand a month.
Damn.
I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. There's levels to this.
That's that East Coast, like old money.
Is this
Yeah.
South Carolina, Hilton Head?
Yeah, it's almost in Georgia. So like the southern tip of South Carolina.
Got that good old racism money down there. Yeah. It's like that legacy money from a long time.
Plantations.
All their houses have like pillars and shit.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they have pillars.
Yeah.
White sand beaches.
We don't talk about what Grandpa did, but this place is beautiful.
Like, this is so freaking. They have a bath, like a hound. There's a hound. Like, I'm looking at like the Google photos of Hilton Head, and there's a house with pillars. There's white sand beaches, and there's a hound, a dog hound for chasing down people, probably. Golly, Dylan, I know you love this. Holy cow! Oh yeah, there's some tugboats out there. Beautiful grass.
Dude, it was awesome. Like it was great, and like it was very affluent, but like
just a rich
it just
white
puts
kid
some
from
things
Ohio.
in perspective.
Great thing about that part of the country, guys, is they do all of it for him. at the end of the day.
There are probably a big like Baptist following around there, right?
Oh, for sure, dude. Wow. Good for you doing 3 deals on vacation, man.
Yeah. And one of them was a buyer I've never worked with before and I will never work with again because they found out how much money I was making and they're like, we want to renegotiate. It's like, no, like this, like what I make shouldn't matter if you agreed to this price. Nothing like changed in this equation.
Did you tell them like, okay, cool, I'm going to sell it to other guys? And then
no, I did say I'm not like other wholesalers where I can close on this tomorrow and then I'll relist it for 30 grand higher than what you're buying it for. And that seemed to do the trick.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's been a lot of nonsense like
You're like, bro, I'm in Hilton Head Island. I'm not like other wholesalers.
No, but I should
a
have.
schmuck could afford to come here, bro. I'm on a yacht.
I'm looking at $20 million yachts for my hotel room.
Looking at jets. We got
I'm
to bring
looking
that.
at
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was just going to say
Gotta
that.
bring that back.
We do.
That was a shirt, wasn't it?
That's an OG.
I have a couple of shirt ideas. We need to get the collecting keys. Is the collecting keys store still open? Can we drop ship from there?
No, it's not. But honestly, with how all the AI stuff is now, I could probably build a better one relatively quickly. It would just be figuring out the fulfillment.
I want a shirt that just says in white letters, Dylan. I just want a black shirt and it just says Dylan.
At least
That's
send
what I
me a
want.
copy.
Yeah.
Then I could be like Andy Elliott and wear it around.
Yes, exactly.
I'll wear it to the
and
gym.
then, but then on the back, we'll put like a cool boat and we'll put, I'm looking at yachts.
Oh, there you go. That would actually be good if we can find like all the stuff that Dylan has said that we incriminate him about. You know, quotes about like Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, speaking of which, it's up. My bet with Jim Scott's looking good.
Yeah, buddy.
I know. I've been saying, when if it gets up to 75, I'm going to sell it again and put it into a real investment because it's going to waste my fucking time.
And I can't wait for like a couple years from now. And it's like, I don't know, 250. And be like, oh man, look, you could have held it, Mike, and had X amount in gains. And you'll be like, oh, I sold it and I put it into my business and we made X amount more money. I hear you already.
Dude,
That's exactly what's going to happen.
So I'm on River right now looking at the price and I see it says smash buy 100. Like I'm just guessing that's like a buy $100 of Bitcoin. You just smash buy it. That's how you know it's good stuff.
Yeah, see that you know they're getting desperate. They need more people to buy it to prop up that fake value. You know, they're just making it easier and easier. Can I buy Bitcoin with Klarna when they start doing that?
You probably can.
The thing I don't understand, okay, so we're all Bitcoin owners, some more than others. The thing I just can't get over is like that Dylan has to like take this like hard drive and put it in 3 different spots just in case something bad happens. But then if you put it in a certain app, it might just disappear. Like, how is that like an investment?
And so it wasn't an app, but it was like the hardware wallet itself that was. And
exactly.
The hardware wallet that was affected was a rather small percentage of, Bitcoin holders.
But the fact that it's not regulated, that like people can't even buy that. You shouldn't even be able to buy that anymore.
Well, the thing that's so weird about that is because that's cold storage, right? So it's disconnected.
Correct.
And they were still able to access it. So that's like if someone like somehow was able to siphon money out of like a safe from like across the world. Like you had like a safe of cash and they somehow like teleported it out.
So the default was on. This is interesting because the default was on the manufacturer of said thing. And it was the RNG function.
Yeah, they forgot to make their safe teleportation proof.
Yeah, well, it's the RNG function, which stands for random number generator. And I guess you need a certain amount of entropy when you make these things, right? So that way they are actually encrypted and can't be siphoned, to use your words. This has been like undiscovered since like 2021. But then someone used a Chinese AI model. It's like, I think it's called like Kimi Moonshot or something like that. It's weird. Look it up. So like the point being is they were able to identify this with a open source Chinese AI model and not any of like the Chat GPTs, the Claudes, or any of the American stuff because of like the restrictions that their parent companies put on them. And so the theory in like the Bitcoin land is, okay, this happened here, but like what's to say this isn't going to happen with these legacy softwares that was built in the 70s, 80s that people just been using for forever.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be probably a lot of software exploits with people who have this both by bad actors and hopefully by, good actors to play defense. But it's interesting where that can go forward because of this.
That sort of stuff, it's so crazy how AI is starting, like it's affecting internet security in so many different ways with various things. Like not only with, the actual password safety and like the encryption, all that kind of stuff, but like having your identity stolen. And there's already all these concerns with, I've seen this recently since I have a son, people being really conscious about posting their kids and stuff on the internet because they don't want AI to basically like steal their kids' identity.
Or even like predators doing like reverse image searches to find your locations, like stuff, all that stuff
Totally,
like out there. Yeah. And going back to the Bitcoin thing, to Dan's point, was let's say you had like this money in your safe at home, like that either got burned or someone came in or they knew you had gold bars and they stole your safe. Yeah. It's the same thing, except it happened over the internet. And it was just like a lot more people got it.
It's the same thing, except for it's not the fucking same thing. If someone comes into my house to steal my gold bars, I'm gonna tackle them and arrest them.
Assume you're not home, but yeah. I hear.
How many safe crackers do you know, dude?
I don't know any.
None.
Yeah.
Because they're not common. But you know what? There's probably a lot of people that have internet access that want to steal your Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, it took 5 years for someone to identify it. So, I mean, you'd think it would happen before then, right?
Yeah. You know, people always talk about like one of the big arguments against immigration is theft. Immigrants don't even have to be here anymore, man. They can just do it from home.
Yeah.
Did you know that the immigrant thieves can just work from home?
They're stealing your jobs from home.
They just have a remote work policy for the immigrant thieving guild.
Shit, dude. That's hilarious.
I know someone in this thing that lost over 20 Bitcoin. And at today's price is over $1.4 million.
That sucks.
He should have sold it when it was 120,000.
Should have, could have, would have.
That sucks.
But
I feel bad.
To most people, though, I don't recommend they go down this path of quote unquote self-sovereignty and storing it your own, because it is complex. Like, you will probably fuck it up. So keep it on Coinbase, keep it on River. Like, it's just like keeping it on TD Ameritrade or Schwab or whatever.
Will they back it up if it gets robbed by a Chinese Kimmy model?
I mean, I'm sure it's just like FDIC insurance, right? It's up to a certain limit.
So you need to get like 2 Bitcoins or 3 Bitcoins at every single bank, like have like 20 banks that you store.
So because it's such an emerging thing, there actually is Bitcoin insurance policies being formed by the Lloyds of London, where like you can basically pay $100 a month and they'll insure your Bitcoin up to its dollar value.
And at the end of the day, the insurance companies always win.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, they get it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of that stuff, like, that is going to be a big problem. I mean, we're starting to see that with our business a decent amount. Is it's very feasible for people to modify documents and different things with their loans through AI, and it's so simple to do. You know, whereas like previously,
like forging bank statements or stuff like that.
Yeah, forging bank statements, forging leases, all that kind of stuff. Whereas previously, if you're going to do that, you at least kind of had to be savvy with Photoshop. But now, like, any fucking neckbeard can go on a ChatGPT and create a fake whatever they want.
There was some guy here that was falsifying PSAs with sellers. And what he would do is he would use a VPN to like change his IP location so it didn't look like the same one on like the digital signatures.
Oh my gosh.
Like stuff like that is like relatively simple to do if you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. We had this guy, we just rejected his loan yesterday. He's a fucking idiot. Because basically what he did was he was trying to refinance his property. It was an Airbnb. We told him we can do Airbnbs, but he just didn't want to hear that, I guess. And so he said, no, it's a long-term rental. So he had these like really weird leases that made no sense that were to an LLC that he owned. And we're like, well, maybe we can figure something out there. But then he didn't even take the freaking Airbnb off of Airbnb. It was still listed. And so the underwriter with our investor just went and like booked a stay at this property and was like, yeah, it's still an Airbnb, so we can't do this loan anymore. And then this dumbass went and made a fucking Facebook video talking about, literally, he's like, I'm talking today about how to get loans for Airbnbs. First off, just know the only way to do it is you're going to have to lie. Like, that's literally what he said.
Yeah, then he tells them the method of lying, which is not even an easy, like, you can't even do, like, that's the worst method of doing it.
No.
Non's arm length corporate LLC. Like people can't just simply look up your LLC name, you dummy.
I know. He's like, most of his followers are fake, which is funny too. But he's also posting these, and people, they're going to see that and go, oh, that's a really good idea, because I don't know either.
I better go start an LLC and do it. Like, people do,
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, when we told him we were rejecting it, and we told him why, and we're like, hey, you should probably take out that video just so you know. He's like, I'm absolutely not doing that.
Oh my God.
You think you're smart and everybody, dude. Unfortunately, those of us with the money, we set the rules and you're wrong.
Do your back-end lenders care about like newly formed LLCs? Like, not without seeing it?
No.
Okay. Everyone always hears, oh, you need 2 years for like, you know, to be lendable, but
I think that's with a conventional bank. On the private side, doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, because they're going to do a background check on the owner, right? So it's like who owns the L, because you want a warm body guarantee, right? So like everybody, and I fell to this too before.
Instead of cold.
I know, right? Can't be dead, dude. We're not stealing votes around here, dude. No, you know, like when we all got into the industry and people are like non-recourse debt, man, that's the only thing. I only do non-recourse. There's no such thing as non-recourse. That does not exist. There's not, especially on the residential side.
Not on like the residential level.
But even when you talk to people with that true non-recourse debt, they're like, yeah, it's not really non-recourse. Like you're still putting your ass on the line. So it's like, it just doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's just kind of silly that that's a thing. But I think people kind of still think that way. They're like, well, I'm putting in an LLC, and then they put it in another LLC, and then they layer that underneath the trust. They're doing all these things. And part of it can be for anonymity or asset protection, but some of it's just, they're just doing dumb stuff.
Well, what you're outlining there, it is the now outcome of kind of like the content sphere, right, that has built out over the last 10 to 15 years that is pretty problematic, because basically there are people that created podcasts, books, YouTube videos, whatever, that win the algorithm every day because they've been around for so long and they have so many views and they're all SEO written out correctly, right? But people will go and see those as like a rookie, and they won't understand that the video they're watching from 2015 is no longer really applicable to today, right? It's completely changed. And that's only going to continue to get worse as more and more content is produced. And you have more people like this fucking guy that are saying things that are 100% false, and it's going to be carried out to more and more people. Somebody else a year from now sees that video and goes, oh, that's a really good idea, and then they tell their friends. And then you have all the dummies that are making content off of each other's false content. Right. People like Pace Morby are the biggest issues with this, because he's created all this BS that's completely not true. And you still have people talking about like, just get sub-2 insurance, bro. That was never a real thing 3 years ago. And yet there's people that still pretend like it is.
Still say it. Yeah. Get some sub-2 insurance.
And there's so many different versions of that. It's just like a lot of the people who get in, they're like, I'm going to build a Burr portfolio of single family homes. Like, good luck, man. You are 12 years too late. Should have started doing that a long time ago.
Yeah, that's tough. Oh, I'm looking for a triple net lease, non-recourse debt. I want it to be a Starbucks, and I want it to be an 8% cap rate.
Solid.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, me too, man.
So does everyone else.
Yeah, and I want to buy it for $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, so the problem with a lot of this stuff is they set unrealistic expectations, and then so these people go dive down this rabbit hole and they find out it's a lot harder or not what they say, and then they give up. Whereas if you would have told them like the truth in the beginning, they have a higher likelihood of at least sticking with it.
And that's why you have all the gurus that have been around for so long that made their money teaching that, and they were teaching next. I think that's why we talked about being the show. Now they're talking about God. They're like, what's left?
Yeah, what's left? Yeah. Well, it's grifting with God, man. That's what's left.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's such a weird time. Anyways, so what's coming up next for you, Dylan? You got the rest of the summer. Are you in like high time right now in August, or is it kind of slow there like everywhere else?
Honestly, it's been weird. August would be a really good month for us. And then September is shaping up to be pretty good in the sense that we bought deals and we actually like bought them. So now they'll probably get sold in September.
It seems like August is kind of a crapshoot for most places.
Well, on the listing side, it has been. Like, it's very, very slow. Kids going back to school, vacations, like this seasonality, it's been slower for sure. But the wholesale stuff has been actually pretty good. And I think that's more attributed maybe to the market. But like, as we've talked about, the first half of the year, I wasn't solely focused on that. So the numbers were a lot down. And we're finally, I think after all these closings through September, are going to be to the point where, okay, the rental portfolio is stabilized. There's enough money in the accounts where I feel comfortable. And honestly, by the end of the year, after talking with my accountant, I'm going to try to buy like at least 20, like hopefully like a 20 unit building or more. And I was actually spending all of this morning going through like county websites to try to figure out like how do I direct mail them, because I don't trust PropStream's like apartment list.
And so trying to buy a 20 unit for like depreciation?
Mostly. Yeah. I mean, obviously I still want to have some value add and, it makes sense on paper, but yeah, depreciation mostly.
Have you looked at other depreciation strategies or tax strategies like that?
You'll love this apparently, and I have to dig into this, so please don't take this as gospel. But if you buy Bitcoin mining equipment, it's in the same rule class as 100%, like depreciation as real estate, where you can take 100% depreciation. Now, I wouldn't run them because I don't know how, but there are hosting services out there. But again, I have no idea if it's actually worth it.
You could basically invest in them.
Yeah, like they would run the machines for you. They take a percentage, et cetera, et cetera. But that is very top level what I know. Why have you guys? Have you looking into other stuff?
No, I wish I could.
Yeah.
You probably need to. Well, I don't know. I don't pay any tax for the rest of the year. But also, too, since my house burned down, I actually apparently get a pretty decent tax break from that. or even talking to my CPI, she's like, oh yeah, there's all kind of like loss stuff you can do for your taxes. She's like, don't worry about that right now. Like figure your shit out.
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
Then we should chat.
Dude, there's some of my properties, and I shouldn't say this on air, but like if they were to get burned up, as long as the tenants are okay, I'd get a fat check with like like the replacement cost versus what it's worth. Yeah.
I mean, I think every landlord has those properties where you sit there and you look at the big picture, like, probably the best thing would be if this burned down. I got a cash settlement.
If a tree fell on it and crushed the whole thing to the smithereens, like that would be
as long as nobody dies, totally.
Yeah.
It's like that would just be the easiest solution here. I don't know. It's a different ball game when it's your own house, obviously. Because also, like, if there's tenants in there, I mean, you don't have to cover any of the tenant stuff. That's what renter's insurance is for.
Yeah.
And so the complexities of it are significantly reduced because it's just the structure. And because it's an investment, if you had appropriate insurance, you probably could cash out like a decent chunk of your equity rather than rebuilding and just walk away.
Mm-hmm. And then you could like, I know like some people that lost their house, what they're doing is they're going and just buying and they're not going to rebuild. So they get a check. You get all your stuff that's inside, which is a separate check. And as you're finding out, Mike, you get like landscaping check, you get rental recovery check, but you get a check for your actual replacement cost of building the structure. Then they take that, they send it to the bank. The bank takes their chunk out of it and they have what's left over, which is fundamentally their equity, which is likely more equity than you actually have in the current market, right? With replacement costs being higher. And then, your other checks trickle in. And so people are just going and buying a new house, right? So I know some people that are paying cash because they have their house paid off, right? So they're just paying cash, but then they have a vacant lot that they can sell. Mm-hmm. So once it comes in and a very good chunk of money in some of these neighborhoods, right? In your neighborhood, especially, So that's what people are doing. And so you have a lot. Once you have a rental lot, you could sell to some investor.
It is kind of like, I guess I thought when that first happened, it's almost like you'd be forced to rebuild your house. But no, you can just take the check and walk away and then sell the house for what it's worth. I've seen wholesale deals like that too.
Yeah, we've bought in like fire damaged houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're potentially leaving money on the table if you take a cash settlement, right? Like they're going to give you less than if you went through the full process. I don't know what percentage less, but also too, there's like insurance policies that will have rebuild value versus there's also insurance policies that will be the market value of the house that you can get. Or like for me, I had market value plus 25%. And so what I can potentially claim is significantly more than the house is worth. You kind of have to justify that for various things. But when that's outside of like the personal belongings, but in a situation, Dylan, where you lost like all of your belongings and everything inside the house, they'll write you a check for what all that was worth, but you don't have to buy the same things. They'll just like give you money.
Right.
And that can be a lot.
Right.
So like for me on my policy, like the personal belongings is like $800,000.
Yeah. Then imagine like, okay, you don't need to rebuy all those things, or you go like, let's say your kids just turned 18 years old and like you're going to be downsizing. Well, now you have all this, it's an extra retirement fund.
Yeah, totally.
It's just weird how all those things work.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's also why they get so serious about investigating fraud and everything else. And it is a freaking headache. But I mean, I would say being on the other side of this, I would never wish this on somebody. It's a fucking pain in the ass and it's extremely traumatic and it's not fun by any means. But if you have your stuff set up right, there actually is like a decent exit for you.
It's surprising to me how many investors, like if they have a private loan, like not through like what you guys are doing, or government loan, just like don't have insurance on the house.
It's so crazy. Like I can understand that a little bit because we talked about this last week, until you use insurance, it does feel like a waste of money.
Yeah.
Right. But you never know when you're going to need it. And kind of the old sort of thing with insurance is that if you do need to make a claim, they're going to make it impossible for you to get the money, which can be very, very true. Dan and I have experienced this with our property that has flooded several times. They make it extremely difficult to do an investigation. There's like dumb stuff where it's like, oh, well, the water insurance policy in your house that only covers water from inside the house. So the fact that our house flooded from water that was outside the house, it wasn't covered. I'm like, that's just idiotic, but depending on the situation that unfolds, you can definitely do better. I don't know. I would say that like if you are somebody that needs to squeeze every single dollar out of your cash flow, right? Because that's what you live off of because you bought a house with a $9,800 a month mortgage that you can't actually afford. Yeah, like if you need every dollar to be able to live your lifestyle, it can definitely feel shitty to have insurance on some of these things. But like if you're someone that is consistently making so much money that the cash is kind of whatever, it kind of makes sense to insure your stuff at a decent level just as a backup plan in case things do go sideways, right? And if bad stuff does happen, I will tell you now, for me personally, I will probably carry more insurance than I need to on anything that I can, just because I never expected to have something so catastrophic happen, and it did.
Yeah.
You know, and you can never predict that. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Apparently, I am a statistic now. That's awesome.
I just tallied up what we pay in insurance on a monthly basis for all of our rentals, so not including our primary and whatnot. It's like just under $2,500
For all your rentals, it's just under $2,500 for all of them?
For all of
What?
them. 13 properties.
A year or a month?
A month.
Well, that's not, well, if you think about it, say it's, $200 a month, say even like a property for us or something like that. I could see where you could. Yeah, you guys got cheap insurance over there. You must have cheap rebuild costs or something.
Well, the replacement costs are definitely lower than probably where you guys are at. We don't really have as many natural disasters.
When was the last time there was a natural disaster in Cincinnati?
Yeah, like I think it would be a tornado, I think. Like,
there was one in Indiana recently. You guys are kind of close to Indiana.
Yeah, we could have them come through, but they're more like a little bit more north because it's flatter terrain.
Wow.
But yeah, I'd say a tornado is probably the most likely here.
I feel like the biggest risk in Cincinnati, like we in the winter. Like
Yeah,
you guys get like ice storms and wind. And
Yeah.
stuff. Pipes.
Yeah, frozen pipes has definitely happened.
Yeah. Dude, actually, if we are coming up to election season, you guys are a swing state. You better prepare for some riots.
Terrorism.
Yeah, some terrorism.
You guys have anybody that plans to shoot somebody?
Terrorism sure is a thing, right? That's not made up.
I know. And I usually decline it, which is funny.
Well, we don't have to worry about terrorism quite as much where we're at. I don't feel like.
Nah,
We're not a swing state.
That's what you. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I was gonna say property taxes would be another big one. I don't even know if I want to tally that up.
But that's the other thing too, is if you have like do what Dan just said and your house burns and you're stuck with a lot, most places they will waive your property taxes for a period of time, which is pretty cool too.
Oh, that reminds me of the people who like build a house and didn't know that they'd get reassessed at a higher property value. Now they can't afford their house.
That was my whole neighborhood back in 22, 23, when they reassessed all the taxes and you had all these people that got approved for these loans at 2021 rates with rock bottom taxes. Like our payment on our house increased $700 a month.
It's crazy because all the people's houses that couldn't afford it burned down in that fire. Weird.
No shit. No, or a lot of them, they sold back in 23. I remember when we got the new tax assessment, literally on the street over from me, like half the houses went up for sale the next week. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. My property taxes is $5,700 a month for everything.
That's a good chunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for paying your taxes, Dylan.
Yeah.
I do. That way our school system can continue to get less than average scores.
Yeah, but you know what? The kids get free lunches. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and your kids don't have to go to that school, Dylan. They can send them wherever you want. Send them to Hilton Head Private Boat University, whatever you want to do.
Go be a maritime. I don't know. Dude, the guy that did our tour, he has to make good money. This from like an hourly and tip basis. Like he has to make good money. I know what he made for the 2 hours he did for us.
Dude, all around the world in those like high expensive tourism places, there are people that work there full time that make so much money that you wouldn't believe. You know, like some of the people that are, let's say you're like a server in like Vail, right? And what a lot of these dudes will do, I literally met a guy when I was in Maui. This is what he does. He basically is in Maui during the summer. He's a waiter, super cool guy, great service, professional what he does. This guy's probably in his 40s. And I was talking to him and I was like, oh, you from here? He's like, no, this is where I spend my summers. Spend the summers in Maui. During the winter, he goes to Vail, Colorado, works in a restaurant during ski season, and just basically bounces back and forth. He lives in 2 dope places. I can only imagine the amount of money he makes off of tips because every meal that he serves isn't less than $500.
Wow.
You know, and he probably has so much freedom on either end of his day. In Maui, he can go surfing during the day, right? In Vail, he can probably go skiing in the morning. He can do all that kind of stuff. He's living life. You know, I bet you he clears 6 figures plus, probably 150 a year. Just think about basic math, especially because a lot of those places too, they won't tax tips correctly. So there's making a lot of that money under the table pretty much.
Run into a guy like you too. He's making money. Big Tipper Mike. Hey, wait, Mike's middle name is Big Tipper.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't buy the most expensive things. What you want is the guys that are buying the $1,000 bottles of wine.
Yeah. But even when we were in Hilton Head, like I felt like I don't know if obligated is the right word to tip like 20%, but the service was always good. So like even those people, like I'm sure they make decent money just being there. Yeah, they're full time.
Sure. I'm just in any general like good service, like even in Spokane, there's probably some restaurants where servers are making pretty solid money. Not like 150 a year, but maybe there's some that are making $100,000 a year.
You know how I know they make good money, Dan, is because there's several restaurants that I go to where they have had the same people on staff for like 5 years.
Right, they're doing good. Yeah.
That says a lot. They wouldn't be doing that if they weren't doing well for themselves.
Bro, there's a dude at Casa de Oro that's been there like 25 years.
That's
he's not making very
though.
good money, but yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I'm talking about some of the places downtown, like the more expensive places. I go there, I'm like, you've been here since as long as this restaurant's been here, 7-8 years.
You know what's the funny one that the listeners don't care about is your boy down there at Ruins. He just cannot keep his restaurant going.
Yeah, he's burned out.
Yeah, dude. He just like one day just closed his doors and didn't tell any of his employees. I was like, God dang, that's not nice.
Well, he sold it.
I know, but he didn't tell anybody.
Private equity deal, man. You got to keep that hush hush. You can't be scaring away the shareholders.
How are yields in the lending? Because everything I've seen says that with those long bond yields going up, it's probably not good for lending in any aspect, not just real estate.
Seems pretty good for me.
It's not bad. Yeah, we're in private lending. We get to set our own prices.
Yeah, we lend who we want to.
Yeah. So the real answer, Dylan, is that on the fix and flip side, our yield spread has definitely crunched a little bit versus what we can sell like to borrowers versus what investors will buy from us. But It's not that crazy, like maybe like 0.5%. On the DSCR side, 30-year fixed side, because we set the pricing and coupon anyway, it hasn't changed at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that is surprising. DSCR has kind of been the same for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for like a long while. If anything, I would say it's actually down from like 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay. The 30-year yield went to a high since 2007. And you have the Treasury Secretary coming out saying that they're going to double their repurchase program, which like just means that they're going to be buying more 30-year bonds than they were. And if they're buying their own debt, that helps keeps the yields down for the reason they want the lending economy to stay pretty liquid and fluid, right? So like if someone gets a car loan, they're not getting a car loan at 7, 8, 9%, right? Or their first position mortgages for like maybe primary, not in the private market. So
yeah, that's the only way that people can afford the current prices. People are constantly joking, like, who can afford these things? Like, how can prices keep going up? The answer is debt, different kinds of debt.
The answer is debt. I'm going to send you guys a country song that it's called Debt, and it's funny. It's like a parody, but it's funny.
As long as it's not AI, because I don't listen to AI music. I'm not trying to suck the soul out of society.
If it did, it fooled me.
Well, you're from the Midwest, so it happens. All right, everybody. Well, praise he. If you want to go to grifterdan.com and check out his mastermind course.
This is probably a website.
Probably. So, all right, everybody. Thanks. Talk to you guys next week.
See y'all.
This episode is sponsored by Sir Lancelot LLC, also known as SLA Capital, which, if you didn't know, is Dan and I's private lending company. So yes, we are sponsoring our own show, but what you going to do about it? It is our private lending company that offers hard money and DSCR loans to real estate investors of all types. So you can be a new investor, an experienced investor. You can be buying flips. You can be buying rentals, whatever. We can do everything. And not only that, but the rates that we offer are just as competitive, if not cheaper, than pretty much every other company out there. So whatever big company you've been working with, bring us their term sheets and I guarantee you that we can probably beat it. We have the same connections they do. We just don't have all the overhead and middlemen. So if you want to come and check us out, go to slacapital.com/keys and I will know that you came from the show. And by seeing that you came from here, when you get to closing, you will save $500 on your first loan with us. So slacapital.com/keys, we would love to fund your next deal. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want more from us, you can shoot us a follow on Instagram. I am at Mike_invest. Dan is at InvestorManDan. And Dylan is at Dylan_does_deals. Shoot us a follow and send us a DM to let us know what you think of the show.